Hey guys, this is Doug. We're going to be talking about who to talk to and what to say to them today. And I think you'll find this very valuable because when I got started years ago in direct sales, I just wish somebody had told me what to say. So I'm going to tell you exactly what to say. You can obviously modify these scripts to sound like you instead of me. If you've not yet downloaded the scripts, they're in the email that I sent out. Any email that comes from Doug at Ask Doug Jones in the last couple of weeks has these two scripts attached. And let me just share the screen here and we'll get started. So you want to get the scripts, and the scripts that I'm talking about today are going to be how to invite people to see the presentation. That's the pictures mound here. Them watching that 2-minute video, our intro video, is them at bat, right? And then you sort for interest. That's the first baseline. And you want to find out, are they interested or not after they've seen the 2-minute video? Guys, if somebody watches that 2-minute video and they're not interested, then they will never be interested in either the business or the products. So just thank them for their time, ask them who they do know that's interested in Safe Air, get some referrals, but they're no longer a candidate. They might be a candidate in the future, but not now. So they're out. But if they are interested, then you get them to first base for a little conversation. You want to have a connect and discovery conversation, learn a little bit about what they're looking for, what their concerns are, and start to build a relationship, because this business is not about closing sales. It's about opening a relationship. And so if somebody's planning, looking at the business and they're going to join you in the business, then you want to build a relationship and help them get started in the business. If they're going to be a customer, you want to build a relationship and have a great customer experience for them so they feel comfortable referring you people they know. Because guys, every customer should lead to 4 more customers. If you do that, you'll never run out of people to talk to. But as you're getting started, you may be wondering who to talk to. So let's get into that next. Here we go. Let's see, where are we? Here we go. So the, how do I have that up here? Oh, here we go. So it's on the other page. Let me pull it over. Let me pull it over, I said. Come on. Here we go. Guys, this is how to get 500 warm leads in 5 minutes. So let me increase the size a little bit. It's a bit small for you to see maybe. So you'll be amazed at how many names and phone numbers are already in your cell phone. So to get them out quickly, just download an app called Contact to Excel. It looks like this. There's a lot of similar names. Most of them probably work, but this is the one I've used, so I know how it works, and it works great. So there's a 3-minute training video on this that I put together. So if you would like to watch that 3-minute training video, just send me a text or email. My email is dougcjones@gmail.com, and my text is 714-334-8333. So 5 simple steps to get all these contacts out of your phone. And guys, if you've used your cell phone for business as well as pleasure, there'll be a couple of thousand in there. You'll be blown away. I was. So 5 simple steps. Download the app and open it, then click export. It will export the contacts to a CSV file. Click and then select email and email that list to yourself. Open it and save it to your desktop or laptop so you can work with it easily. And then create additional columns for whatever you want. But for sure, you want to have a column for priorities and a column for notes, probably a column for date of last contact, next contact. You can create any number of columns you want in Excel. And then prioritize your list. We talk a lot about the first 20 list. The first 20 list is for practice. These are people who will watch the intro video just because it's you who asks them. They're people that care about you and want to help you in your new business. So if you'd open a new restaurant, these are the people that would come down just to support you, right? So they'll support you in this business too, if you ask them. And then you want to also, in that list, as you're prioritizing, decide who are the potential influencers for either the business or the product. People that have the ability to place a lot of machines. For example, somebody who's a member of a school board, maybe you're a principal of a school, or some kind of a manager or C-level leader in a corporation that may have a number of outlets like a franchise. For example, a lot of companies own multiple franchises. Usually franchises these days aren't owned by an individual, they're owned by a company that has 100 of them. So those would be great influencers for product. And for the business, anybody who's had experience in direct sales, who's got a big following in the direct sales or personal growth space would be a great influencer that you'd like to have on your team. So just make a note of those people and then use this acronym, ERIC, E-R-I-C. You're looking for ERICs. Erics are people who are entrepreneurial. They have resources, meaning they can afford to put some money into growing a business. They have influence and they have credibility within that sphere of influence. So that's an Eric. Erics are obviously ideal potential leaders for your business. And then write out a plan. And that plan should include daily time blocks when you're going to work the business. Because guys, right now, you are in the habit probably of not doing your Volare business on a daily basis. You probably do it on a sometime basis rather than a part-time basis. I promise you, if you will give this business the same degree of respect you'd give a dentist appointment, for example, then great things can happen. If you had a dentist appointment and you had to change it, first of all, if you have an appointment with the dentist, you're going to block it off in your calendar, right? There's going to be a block in your calendar that says dentist appointment. And then if you have to change it for some reason, or if the dentist changes it, you're going to move that time block somewhere else. So you still have that time block covered, right? So if you in your weekly plan, if you don't put time blocks down for when you're going to build your business, when something happens and you don't get it done today, you will never get that time back in your business. However, if you block that time off as a non-negotiable appointment with yourself, then when something comes up, first of all, you can say to somebody, if they want you to do something at that time, I'm sorry, I have an appointment at that time. When else could we do that, right? So it makes it easy for you to deflect non-essential tasks because you have an appointment. You don't have to tell them the appointment is with you, right? But you have an appointment and people respect that. So you need to respect your appointments as well. If something serious comes up and you do have to change it, then what you do is do the same thing you would do with the dentist appointment. You simply move that time block to some other time and you still put that time into your Volare business. So if you're going to do 10 hours a week, do 10 hours a week, right? Block it off. And then if something has to change, move the block, but keep the 10 hours preserved for your business. If you don't do that, guys, you will never get anywhere because life will get in the way. We all have challenges, emergencies, problems, and obstacles that come into our path every day. The difference between winners and people who don't succeed is simply that the winners focus on the end goal and they're disciplined about getting done what needs to be done in order to achieve that end goal, regardless of circumstances. So time blocks are how you do that. So if you're not blocking your time, then you need to do that because, guys, we are all not in the habit of doing this when we start. We've got to change that habit. The best way to do that is time blocks. So write out that plan with time blocks. Get at least 20 people to watch our 2-minute video within the next 7 days if you're new, or if you're just getting started, even if you're not new and you're just getting started. Remember, these are the people, the first 20 are the people who want to help you in your business. They'll help you just because you ask them to give you 2 minutes for practice. So all you want to do is practice, inviting them to watch that 2-minute video and then following up to see if they're interested or not. It's easy peasy. So 3 days would be better, but that's the process for who do you start with? Who do you talk to? So hopefully that makes sense. So we're going to jump right now into what do you say to those people you talk to. So let me get up here. Whoops, get rid of this guy. And so now we're talking about what do you say in this inviting process. We'll come around to the sorting for interest and getting them to watch the longer video the same day. That'll be this part 2. So I'm going to break this recording into 2 for training purposes. So right now we're just going to talk about how do you invite people to watch that 2-minute video. There's a lot of different things you can do. So let me get into that and pull this one over. Okay, so we talked about the 500 warm leads in 5 minutes. We talked about the first 20. Guys, professionals always practice before they play. So if you want to be paid like a professional in Volare, you must become a professional. And success leaves clues. If you model what the other successful people have done, then you should be able to get the same results, right? So practice begins with your first 20. That's what successful professionals in our business did to get into the groove, to get their talk track down. So these are 20 people who want to help you and will help you, let you practice on them. These are people who love you and want you to succeed. So it doesn't make any difference if they're a great candidate for the business or for the product. This is for practice. So they'll watch the 2-minute video just because it's you who asks them to. So get that done quickly so you can get your groove on and get into talking to the higher level prospects. So by the way, these may be high level prospects, but as long as they'll watch it just because it's you, then have at it. So from your Excel spreadsheet of your contacts from your phone, you choose 40 or so who are likely to watch the 2-minute video just because you ask them. Why 40? Because you won't get a hold of all of them within 2 or 3 days. The only criteria is that they're adults who know you and are willing to help you get started in your new business. Again, no attachment to the outcome at all. This is for practice. So don't blow your best prospects. Call your first 20, the easy ones first, and before you get into the ones that are maybe have a less close relationship with you. So these conversations should be very short, otherwise you'll get in the way of the message. In other words, the most common mistake new people make is they talk too much. Our goal is to be a tour guide to the information, guys, not personally a presenter of the information. Especially on the recruiting side, more people will say yes, the less you say, and the more you let the technology do the telling and selling. That's a training for a different time, but it is totally true. So the intro video I recommend is at www.safeairvideoshort.com. That's 3 W's, safeairvideoshort.com. The short video, the 2-minute video, does not require a password. The other videos we use after somebody's interested do require passwords, so just be aware of that, and we'll tell you what those are on that next training. And I always also, with that 2-minute video, I don't tell people I'm going to do this. I just get them to commit to watching the 2-minute video, and we'll show you how we do that in just a second. But I always also send with that the link to the December 14th press release, which is at tinyurl.com. That's tinyurl.com/V and then a hyphen and then the word lab test, all one word, lowercase. So it's tinyurl.com/V-lab test. Lab test is all lowercase. There you will find the December 14th press release. Guys, the reason I always send the press release for that first 2-minute video is because if I don't, then what people will say, usually when people have watched the 2-minute video and I follow up and I say, pretty powerful, what did you like best about what you saw? The first word out of their mouth, about 70% of the time, is either wow or amazing. But sooner or later, if I haven't sent that press release along with it, sooner or later they're going to say, this sounds too good to be true. If this is so good, why isn't it everywhere? That will come up if you don't send the press release. So sending the press release simply eliminates that objection, because authority, guys, is one of the 6 principles of influence. And that one sentence in the headline of that press release has more authority than any one sentence I've ever seen in my life. It says, NASA-based active pure technology rapidly eliminates 99.9% of SARS-CoV-2 virus in FDA compliant military grade lab tests. Hard to remember all that at once, especially if you're 73. But it is powerful, and it has NASA, it has FDA, it has military grade lab, and I never get the objection, sounds too good to be true, if somebody has seen the headline. So I always send that with the 2-minute video, and that is once again at tinyurl.com/V and then hyphen lab test all lowercase. So approach suggestions for your first 20 and other warm market contacts who know, like, and trust you. Guys, people do business with people they know, like, and trust. And they want to help people they know, like, and trust. So the goal is to invite them to watch the 2-minute video, and then after they've seen it, guide those who are interested through our 7-step discover and learn system, which is that baseball diamond, as a memory handle. This is what we're talking about right now is step 1. So remember, the first 20 are just for practice. So get them done in how many days? 2 or 3 days, right? Not 2 or 3 weeks. So time is your enemy, guys. Speed is your friend in this business. You must be urgent if you're going to build a business here, because this is about multiplication and duplication, and your team, even if you don't have a team yet, your team in the future will do what you do, not what you say, even if they weren't there when you did it. It's like it's in the ether or something. I don't know. But people will do what you do and not what you say. So always think in terms of every day. Wake up and say, if 1,000 people in my team do what I'm going to do today, would that be a good day or a bad day in my business? You'll always make the right choice and be urgent, because if 1,000 people take an extra day or 2 to do something, then you lost 1,000 or 2,000 extra man days in your business. So you don't want to do that. So be urgent, get things done today. Think in terms of hours, not days. Think in terms of minutes, not hours, and so forth. Seriously, time is your enemy. You must fight that. You must fight the normal tendency to procrastinate when you're not absolutely, totally aware, totally experienced about what you're doing. But just do it and you'll learn. Cicero said 3,000 years ago, the skill to do comes from the doing. So the first 20 for practice, get them done in 2 or 3 days. If you're awkward and you stumble a bit, that's totally normal. That's why you're practicing. So don't worry about that. It's completely normal. All of us have done that. And that's why you're starting with 20 people who know, like, and trust you. Let them know that you're starting a new business and you need their help. They want to support you in this, but you need to tell them. And so let them help you by watching the 2-minute video and giving you feedback. Remember, this is practice. So you want to try out all 3 of these different kinds of invitations to see what works best for you. Here's some easy ideas on how to start the initial conversation, regardless of how you start that conversation. Once they agree to watch the 2-minute video, the exact script for getting them to do that and for setting up the step 2 sorting call follows these ideas, right? So pay attention. In the rest of this, the part in red that you see is like stage directions, giving advice to you. And the script itself is black print with yellow highlight. So one aside I would throw in before we get started on the scripts that I have here is I just saw about 2 weeks ago an amazing video. And so I saved I created a short link for you so you can get to it easily. This is about rejection-free retailing. It's by a guy named John Bender, who's a Platinum 5 in Volaro. Has been here for over 20 years, since before it was actually Volaro, when it was still EchoQuest. And this is excellent training by John on a powerfully simple way to sell Air and Surface Pros that's comfortable, effective, and rejection-free. So I would encourage every person to watch this, especially your new people. Get them to watch this immediately because they can sell the Air and Surface Pros that come in that initial package, a 3-pack or a 5-pack. They can sell those in a week or 2 with this strategy. So be sure to check this out. Here's the link. It's www.bit.ly. Bitly is a link shortener. So bit.ly/V -lowercase puppy dog, PUPPYDOG. Guys, watch that today after you watch this training. It'll blow your mind how easy that is. I'm excited to try it myself. So for good friends, here's how you want to get going. First of all, if you want to jumpstart your business with friends, the best way to do that is with a Healthy Home Showcase. Mike Jackson and Vorbia Turner are doing a 10-week training starting today, the day that I'm recording this, January 8th. So if you have not signed up for that, I'd highly recommend you do it. It's $10 for all 10 weeks, right? So it's $1 a week. It's the best value you'll ever have in training. And Mike and Rabia talked today about this Healthy Home Showcase. And guys, you want to figure this out, because if you want to really accelerate your business and multiply it quickly, this is exactly how it happens, because one Healthy Home Showcase leads to another and so forth. So duplicating these Healthy Home Showcases is the fastest way to expand your business. Oops, got a typo there. We'll fix that. So you're seeing this for the first time, so you get to see the mistakes. So here's the approaches that I would suggest you master, and try and just see which one works best for you. The first one is what I call the by the way approach. It's also known as the Columbo Approach. You may remember that frumpy little detective played by Peter Falk from I guess the 80s maybe. And if you remember that, the bad guy was always a smooth talking, sophisticated guy, and Columbo's this little guy in a frumpy raincoat. He kind of slumps his way in, and the bad guy always smooth talks his way out of the situation. And Columbo says, "Yeah, I guess you're right." And then he walks to the door like he's defeated. His shoulders are down. He's shuffling off to the door, and he turns in the doorway and points his finger at the guy and says, "By the way," and nails him every time. So that's called the Columbo Approach. In our culture, guys, the phrase "by the way" lets everyone know that the topic of conversation is going to change, right? So you can create curiosity and get someone to watch a 2-minute video at the end of any conversation just by saying, "by the way." So here's how it goes. So let's say you're talking about, the latest landing on Mars, by the NASA satellite or rovers or whatever. So as that conversation winds down, any conversation winds down, there's that sort of slow down where you're about to say goodbye. This is where you insert the "by the way." Slide it right in there and say, "By the way, are you aware that a technology that NASA developed to keep the air safe in the International Space Station has been shown to eliminate 99.9% of virus particles from indoor air in less than 3 minutes, including the COVID virus. And then zip your lip and wait for an answer. Most people say no, right? So they're interested. If they're not interested, just change the subject and move on. So if they express the slightest flicker of interest, just say, I have a link to a 2-minute video that introduces this amazing technology. If I test you the link, will you watch the video and give me your feedback? Guys, that is a frame. It's called the if I would you frame, and it works extremely well because it's a fair exchange. People, if you are going to take the time to text it to them, they're agreeing to watch it and give you feedback. So that's an exchange of value. So that if I would you is a common negotiating technique, but it works great in getting people to agree to watch a 2-minute video because 2 minutes is a very small ask, right? Everybody will give you 2 minutes if you ask correctly. So another way to say that is there's a 2-minute video that explains how it works. If I text you that, will you watch it and give me your feedback? So, choose words that are like you, and these are in Word documents, so you can change them to sound like you, but keep the flow and the brevity. Remember, the less you say, the greater your chances they'll actually watch the video, because if they ask you a bunch of questions, what they're trying to do is get enough information so they don't have to watch the video. So don't give into that. Don't answer questions. Let the video do the telling and selling. So then text them. I always ask for their text number if I don't happen to know it. And the reason I ask for their text number rather than their email is because if I text it to them, they'll probably watch it sooner than if I send them an email. At least, on the margin, people will tend to pick up their text much faster than their email. The second reason is if I have their text number, then I also have what? I have their phone number, right? If you don't know, so this is for friends, so this isn't so appropriate for friends, but if you're dealing with people you just met at a trade show or you met them at a restaurant or whatever, you met them at the kids' ball game on the sidelines, if you ask somebody for their phone number, they'll be a little bit reluctant to give it to you if they don't know why they're giving it to you. But if you tell them you're going to text them something and ask them their text number, they will give it to you almost every time, even though it's exactly the same number. It's just psychology. So I always ask for the text number. I never ask for the phone number. If you'll do that, you'll get that phone number a lot more often than if you ask for the phone number. So here's what I text them. You might want to take a screenshot of this. I'd recommend you do exactly the same. They've agreed to watch the 2-minute video and give you feedback, right? So a first name, if it was me that I was sending it to, I'd say, hey, Doug, here's the link to the 2-minute video about that NASA tech that eliminates viruses. And I send them the link to the safeairvideoshort.com. Remember that one, the short ones do not need passwords. And here's the link to results of a lab test. Amazing, with an exclamation point. And then I put in the link to the lab test. By the way, the tiny URL /v-lab test goes to the same place as bit.ly/v-COVID. So don't be confused by that. Those are just two different link shorteners to the same place. And so here's the link to the results of the lab test. Amazing. And then I put bit.ly/v-COVID. I don't tell them that the lab test had this 99.9% reduction, because that would be giving them information I want them to be surprised by, right? And then I'll say, I'll call you back in 5 minutes to get your feedback or whatever you've agreed to. Thanks, and then your name. And by the way, this looks like an email, right? It's more formal than most texts. That's on purpose, because the more formal it is with a closing like thanks and then Doug, then that stands out in their mind. Most people send a text, they don't put this person's first name. Remember, a person's first name is music to their ears and music to their eyes. People love their first name. It's the most important word in any language. So always when you're sending a text or an email, put in their first name, don't just reply. Most people just reply because they don't know that, but you'll be impacting them much greater if you include their name. So number 2, this is another approach. Will you do me a favor? This is the one you want to use with these first 20 people. Hey, John, I need your help. I just started representing an amazing technology developed by NASA to keep the air safe in the International Space Station. And I need to get 20 people to watch our 2-minute intro video just for my homework in this first week of training. If I text you the link, will you help me out by watching that 2-minute video and giving me your feedback? I'd really appreciate it. If they say yes, get their text number and send them the text. And then here's a business approach that you can use with anybody, friends or otherwise. I've used it for 20 years. It works great because there's nothing to say no to here, really. I call it the $1 million question because almost everybody says yes. So here it is. Hey, John, I'm just walking out the door. You always want to establish you're in a hurry. Why? Because that way you don't have to answer questions. So, hey, John, I'm just walking out the door, but I'm really glad I reached you. Do you have 2 minutes for a quick question? Now, if it's somebody you know, and you say you're just walking out the door, but I'm really glad I reached you, that's going to create curiosity, right? And curiosity focuses attention. So very important to let them know you don't have time to talk, but you're really glad you got a hold of them. Ask if they have 2 minutes for a quick question. If they're in the middle of something at work or something, they'll say no. Just say, great, when will we have 2 minutes? And they'll give you a time. But usually they say yes, because you're asking only for 2 minutes. So you want to, first of all, sincerely compliment them. John, I've always appreciated the way you do business. If you do, right? If you know that about them, or if they're great with people, say, John, you're really great with people. Or, I just wanted to find out, are you at a point where you're open to looking at a business project on the side? If there's really good money in it, it involves some amazing NASA-based technology that you want to be aware of anyway. Guys, that question is hard to say no to. Nobody will say yes, by the way, either. What they will say is something like, well, it depends, tell me more, or what's it about, or is it multi-level marketing, or does it require an investment? They will ask you a question of some kind. It makes no difference what the question is. The answer is always the same. Like I said, John, I'm just walking out the door, but can I send you this 2-minute video? And if I do, will you watch it and give me your feedback? And then if you'd like more details, we can get you as much more info as you want. Does that sound good? And so that's why you are set up the fact that you're walking out the door. It is a way to deflect any questions into that first 2-minute video. So if they say yes, then get the text number and send that text, same text. Now, there's some very comfortable indirect approaches you can use if you're a little bit uncomfortable with a person. This isn't for your first 20, you shouldn't be uncomfortable with them at all. But if there's somebody that maybe has achieved more than you have in business or something, or somebody that's a little bit higher in the pecking order in your mind, or for any reason you feel nervous about talking to them, then these indirect approaches work great. So this one says, I've just started, John, I've just started a new business. I'm a bit nervous. Before I get going, I need to practice on someone friendly. Would you do me a big favor and let me practice on you and just watch a 2-minute video and then give me your feedback? That's pretty simple. Here's another one. John, I found a business I'm really excited about, but what do I know? You have so much experience in business. Would you look at a 2-minute video about the key technology and give me your honest opinion? People love to give their opinion, right? So ask somebody for their opinion. And then here's a third one. I started a business with a product I think makes a lot of sense, but I'd like to get some feedback from others. Would you be willing to watch a 2-minute video about it and give me your honest opinion? So those are always really simple ways to approach somebody without approaching them directly and asking them, if they're interested. So for an in-depth discussion on inviting people to learn about the business and or the products, Chapter 2 in Go Pro by Eric Worre. That's a book by a guy named Eric Worre. If you're not familiar with that, you should have it. It is the Bible of this industry. And it is also required reading in the 10-week class that Mike and Robia are doing this next 3 months. But it's called Go Pro, the 7 Steps to Becoming a Network Marketing Professional. Remember I said earlier, if you want to get paid like a professional, you have to be a professional. That book is read by the professionals in our industry. So, and it also has a great whole chapter on inviting that you'll get a lot of value from. So after they agree to watch the intro video, if you're with them, you can have the video queued up on your phone and hit play and hand it to them. If I'm at a restaurant and I talk to the manager and I say, hey, the reason I asked you to come over is I'm a authorized distributor for a technology developed by NASA that eliminates COVID and any other virus for that matter from indoor air in less than 3 minutes. Is that something you might want to learn more about? That's how I approach somebody in business, right? That if I'm in their store or their restaurant. If that's the case, I'm with them. If I'm with them, I don't send them a text or an email. I just hand them my phone. So I have it queued up on my phone. It takes 2 minutes, right? If you're on the phone with them, then you use the if I will you framework. If I text you a 2-minute video, will you watch it and give me your feedback? So you get the text number and then send them that same text we talked about before. So you only have to remember one text format. And so then what you want to do is text it to them while they're on the phone. Don't hang up the phone after you get their text number. Text it to them and say, I just sent you the text. Did you get it? Wait for the answer. WFA on these scripts means wait for answer. Wait until they confirm they've received, because especially if it's an email, if they prefer it's an email, then sometimes it goes to spam or promotions or whatever. So once they confirm that they have received the link, and only then you get off the phone. You say, great, it's only 2 minutes. Can you watch it right now? And then they'll say yes, or they'll say no. You know, if they're in the middle of something, if they say no, then find out some other time later today when they can watch it, guys, because it's only 2 minutes. If they can't watch it today, then take it away from them. People want what they can't have. So say, hey, if you don't have 2 minutes, then it won't make any difference anyway. You probably wouldn't have the time no matter how good this is. So just take it away. People will often grab it back. If they let you take it away, then they're not interested anyway. They're just being polite. So that's the info for this first script. I'm going to stop the recording now and then restart it for the second script about what happens after they've watched the video. So be sure to watch that next training as well. And we'll get that going here in just 1 second.